Breaking news, breaking news. These two creeps have been captured and taken off the streets. We've been talking about a case in North Carolina with a 15-year-old girl who was lured out of her house. There was an Amber Alert. We're talking about Azalea Strifler. We're talking about the case of this young lady right here. Now, she's a little child. 6 a.m. the other day, her mom says she vanished. Big search all over the area in North Carolina for her, just north of Fayetteville. And lo and behold, these guys right here lured her out of the house and took her, kidnapped her. These two creeps, one's from Virginia, another is from the North Carolina area. And authorities had to use technology to track her down. So I want to give you some details about these creeps, because this is a story that we've covered on JLR Investigates. It's never good when little girls and little boys get kidnapped by weirdos, psychos like this. Check it out.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. Most of you pretty much know why we're here. First of all, let's start out with this. I want to thank our Lord and Savior for helping us return this girl safely to her family, and the protection that he gave for all the agents that were involved in this apprehension of the suspects. So I just want to get that behind us, because I think that's very important for why we're here today, or part of the reason why we're here. Joining me today, I got a few folks up here. SBI Director, Mr. Chip Hawley. Also have with the FBI, Mr. Philip Van Weingartner. I got that correct. Our District Attorney, Suzanne Matthews. Some members of the Sheriff's Office that have worked around the clock on this, as well as the other agencies. You know, an operation like this, how we get things accomplished is how we all come together, work together to make this happen. So it's a blessing for any sheriff or chief of police to have this kind of support to help us, because we can't do it by ourselves, and the results of what happened are because of these folks and the people that work for them. I'm going to start this out. The missing juvenile was located early this morning in Dare County, North Carolina, by agents with the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, Kitty Hawk Police Department, Dare County Sheriff's Office, and Currituck County Sheriff's Office. The Virginia Beach Police Department assisted in the investigation. The juvenile appeared not to have any injuries, but was transported to a local hospital for evaluation. The locating of the juvenile was the result of an extensive investigation by the above agencies. Each of the participating agencies worked together, utilizing their own but cohesive use of law enforcement tools to further the investigative process. Key avenues to success this case relied upon court-approved methods for serial analysis and social media review to locate the missing juvenile and the suspects. As you may know, we have arrested two of the suspects. First was Elihue Martin Mahler, age 31, black male from Virginia Beach, Virginia. He was charged with human trafficking, child victim, felony kidnapping, felony conspiracy to kidnap, and felony conspiracy human trafficking. Also arrested was Austyn Lee Cole, age 23, white male of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. His charges were human trafficking, child victim, felony kidnapping, felony conspiracy to kidnap, and felony conspiracy human trafficking. Also, ask for your privacy for the family. Now, I do have a message from the mother. Speaking with her, you know, obviously she's very elated that her daughter is being returned back this afternoon. And she wanted to thank all the agencies that were involved with this. But at this time, I think all of you can appreciate that she wants her privacy and her family right now. And so I ask that you honor that. Obviously, I can't make you do it, but just think about if that was your daughter. So keep that in mind. I know you have a lot of questions. You got a job to do. Also, one I failed to answer is some of the agents here at the sheriff's office. You know, I've been up here for the last 2 days, and this went on all night long. There was agencies. They never left. They were right here in this room to help bring this young lady back safely. Right now, what I'd like to do is ask our District Attorney, Suzanne Matthews, if she'll step up. She may have a few words for you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good afternoon. On behalf of the District Attorney's Office, I would like to commend each agency that played a role in bringing this investigation to a successful completion. It is a testament to the hard work and dedication of each detective, officer, and agent that we're standing here today reporting a positive outcome for this family. The first appearance for these defendants should occur tomorrow in Harnett County District Court. Pursuant to statute, bond has not yet been set. Bond will be considered and may be set by the judge tomorrow during the first appearance. As this case moves through the court system, my office remains committed to seeking justice for all involved parties. Thank you.
At this time, we'll open it up for some Q&A. It may be I step back and let the ones that are involved that were involved with apprehension. So with that being said, who's got a question?
First interaction, how did these two first meet, the juvenile and the adult? How did that happen?
Okay, I'm going to let FBI. Philip.
So as we understand, the subjects in this investigation interacted with the victim in the online space, as unfortunately we have seen previously in other investigations that FBI and our partners have worked, this ultimately led to a transition from the online space to the real world, which can obviously be extremely tragic and have significant consequences.
There was a delay in the Amber Alert going out. Did that cause any issues for how you all were able to respond?
No, sir. None whatsoever.
Are you able to stand up just yeah, sorry, sir.
That's all right. It was not. We were already working it at that time. As soon as we notified, the sheriff notified us, and we got together with all the parties involved, we immediately started our investigation. That was just a mere process for notification for the public.
The technology you guys used to solve the case, I heard cellular, and I heard something else. Could you kind of go into that a little bit?
Sure, I'll let the FBI director go with that.
So in these sorts of investigations, the FBI leverages, as well as our partners, leverage a number of different capabilities. Each agency brings to bear a specific skill set, experiences, technical capabilities, but then also it's important to note that all of these investigations are leveraging and using techniques that are going to be court authorized. So it's important to note that. While we don't want to go into specifics in this case, it's worth noting that, again, leveraging technologies and capabilities across all these agencies led to this outcome.
While you're there, I know that you said that the suspects and the victim met in the online world and then it moved to reality. Did she go willingly with these individuals? Was she snatched, taken by them?
Yep. So I don't want to get specifics in this particular investigation about that. What I will say is that no minor goes willingly. So anytime you've got a minor who's engaging with a predator online and they do something in the real world, or for that matter, they do something online, they are minors. They are victims. They're being manipulated. And it's worth noting that in generally in these investigations, but I wouldn't want to speak specifically to this one.
Speaking about human trafficking charges that are involved here, do you believe that this is isolated, or are these two individuals a part of something bigger?
Yep, so it's a good question. I think it's worth noting that the efforts over the last couple of days in this particular investigation have been driving specifically at the safe return of this victim, and we've achieved that. In the course of the investigation, in the course of that effort, all the agencies have developed a lot of evidence that we will be reviewing and we'll continue to cover additional leads and continue to conduct additional investigation to answer those sorts of questions. But the investigation, while it has been extremely intense and we've worked very hard collectively as agencies over the last couple of days, there's a lot of work left to be done.
Any idea how the man from Virginia Beach and the man from Kitty Hawk knew each other, how they grow to be together?
So right now we are trying to further identify that. We want to be able to lock that down and fully understand the nature of their relationship. It is one of many questions we hope to answer in the coming days in this investigation.
History of the two suspects?
Yeah, same thing. So yes, sir.
I guess message to parents, this is probably their worst nightmare to see, their little girl, be taken away in this manner, especially when you're talking about human trafficking and that kind of thing. I mean, what's your message about, monitoring your kids?
Yeah, so let me speak generally again. I don't want to speak specifically to this investigation, but generally to all the parents out there, to all the children out there. It is important for parents to be engaged in a meaningful way with their children and how their children are interacting on the internet. That can look like a number of different things. That can be having conversations with your children about who they're talking with online. It could be running through scenarios about the types of interactions they may find in the online space. It's worth noting our children are extremely technically savvy, oftentimes maybe more so than we are. What they lack is the world experience and the decision-making skills to understand consequences of these sorts of engagements. They lack the ability to understand the reality that predators are out there online attempting to victimize them. So I think for parents, it's all about the meaningful engagement. Again, that needs to be having conversations with your children. It needs to potentially be looking at the devices with your children, having access to their accounts, periodically conducting spot checks, reviewing who they're engaged with, who they're talking with. But also it's worth noting that it's not just about your children. Your children may be aware of other children in the school who are potentially at risk. Encouraging children to have conversation with their parents about that if they're aware of another child, a peer who's at risk, is extremely important to stop this sort of activity from getting any worse. So again, it's about engagement from the parents with the children.
Can you elaborate on the importance of working so quickly in this investigation? I mean, you guys put out the Amber Alert, and already this morning, I mean, it was multiple agencies working together. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. So I think one of the things that we see here is an example of one of the biggest strengths that we can bring to bear collectively is our ability to work together. I don't think anybody would question that when a situation like this happens, this becomes the absolute priority for every agency. And every one of the agencies that the sheriff mentioned brought to bear all the resources available to them from across the state, from outside of the state, and everything else is dropped so we can work this. It is absolutely critical when we have a missing child that we are able to locate them and bring them back safely home as quickly as possible.
Was there a key point or just evidence that helped you target this location and where she was located?
Yep, so I don't think we can speak specifically to that. Again, our goal collectively across the agencies was bringing her safely home. We have a lot of investigative work ahead of us to understand the nature of, again, as was asked earlier, the relationship of the subjects, and identify any other supporting evidence to help us with the ultimate prosecution and bringing these subjects to justice.
That is surprisingly similar Amber Alert go out today out in Chatham County and Siler City. Any reason to believe that it's connected to the case that we're talking about today?
So there is no reason that I'm aware of at this time to believe that there is any connection between those investigations. It is worth noting that the Siler City Police Department, SBI, and FBI are standing up a joint command post to work this investigation. And much like the investigation we're talking about today, the same goal is there for us, is to safely, quickly identify the location of the victim and bring that victim home safely.
Being part of the I-95 corridor, how common is this? And I'm assuming the outcome's not always this.
Yep, so it's a good question. I don't think being part of the I-95 corridor necessarily is connected to this particular investigation. I think it's worth noting that wherever children are on the internet, predators will find them on the internet. And so we see this across the FBI in our experience, and I'm sure it's the same with the other agencies as well, that it is less about geographical location, it's less about the upbringing of the child. What, are they rural? Are they in an urban environment? It's about predators going after children in the online space.
There's two suspects, but given child trafficking charges, any thoughts that this may be a much larger organization?
No indication at this time of that. However, again, it's worth repeating that we are in the early stages of the more thorough investigation to develop that, the evidence that we'll need to answer those sorts of questions.
Could someone possibly just say the names of the suspects, or at least provide the spelling, make sure?
Yeah. Let me ask Director Hawley to step up, because he has information on their criminal history, and he can also give you their names and the correct spelling of it. And also, Director Hawley, when I contacted him first, it was amazing, just like with the FBI, how quickly they responded down here, set up the command post, and just got on this, and that's another reason we were able to solve this so quickly and come to a good, as you said, a good ending. Not all of them end like this, but I'll let Director Hawley speak on that. Right there, Austyn Lee Cole, and then his is there.
The spelling of the first suspect is Elihue Martin, common spelling, and Mahler. It's a black male, 31 years of age, Virginia Beach, Virginia. The second suspect is Austyn Lee, common spelling, last name Cole, white male, 23 years of age, Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. The relationship the sheriff just spoke about is incredible. Being able to have you talk about agencies working together, but it's about having that personal connection with all senior law enforcement across the state and across the nation. When you're able to make a phone call and then it pulls everybody together, it's just outstanding. I mean, it just makes all the difference in the world. And us being able to come together and to a positive resolution is amazing.
I think you have the criminal history on the guy.
There is a criminal history on the first suspect, the black male. He has been charged before with assault on a law enforcement officer and weapons charge and some drug activity. The second suspect had some minor other criminal charges.
Anything else?
Can I get you to say and spell your first last name, the mic, please, and your title? And then you afterwards.
Chip Hawley, Hawley, Director, State Bureau of Investigation, SBI.
Philip Van Weingarten, Assistant Special Agent in Charge, FBI, North Carolina.
Again, thank y'all so much for coming and covering this story again. It's heartfelt for me that we were able to get this young lady back to her family so quickly. And hopefully she will be back this afternoon. Is that my understanding? And she'll be reunited with her mother later this afternoon. Thank you.
Life in prison without the possibility of parole for these two creeps. What a bunch of creeps, psychos. Look at these guys. Yeah, they're not going to do well in prison knowing what they've done to a little girl. The inmates will probably get a crack at them every day and make their life in prison stay as miserable as possible. We are covering true crime on JLR Investigates, praying for that little girl's family and the community. Law enforcement, first responders did an excellent job tracking those two creeps down. Let's keep rounding the creeps up. Let's save the children out there, missing children all over the place. Let's bring attention to them and help solve these cases out there. I am JLR Investigates. We will talk soon. Stay tuned.